About to take the kids to school. However, there's something burning a hole in my garage pocket. We'll get back to that, but I think I might need to get in there and just get the forms that are inside out if I'm going to go past the Queensland Department of Transport. So let's rip her open quickly. Blunt as. Oh, cool. come up here. Beauty. Gee, she looks good, look at that. Well, we had a quick look out there, but it's like as predicted, it's super big northerly, so we're protected by this whole headland here as soon as you get out there, so I don't think I'm game to sort of go out there today. Alright, we've moved just a little bit further down into the bay where I can talk a little easier, but I guess we might as well just show some of the cool things this can do actually while we're here. Lock those down and we'll just pull it up here. How cool is that? So now I can just drag straight down from the camping spot or on the beach, and I don't have to worry about anchors, I don't have to worry about anything, and it's as light as a feather. This is going to work. Every time I move somewhere, there's people just appear right behind me or something, so I've just given up now. I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and talk and look like a bit of an idiot. So yeah, no, we've been sort of working on this little boat for a while. It's not obviously a huge boat, and it's still sort of in that small craft category, but I seem to like mucking around on the things like that, so it sort of suits me at the moment. We did, through the whole process of looking for a boat, I did sort of get a bit excited and start looking at, say, maybe 4.5 metre tinnies and things like that. At some point it will be on the cards, like later on down the track, but at this stage I think money-wise and sort of where I'm at, I think this is suitable. I guess you can see the same Tohatsu motor on there. Because this is all a complete air deck and completely inflatable, it allows me to, because it's so light, it allows me to use the same engine. So that was a consideration, because I was looking at tinnies, I was like, man, I'm going to have to upgrade to at least a 30 horsepower, at least. What are some different things I've done to it? Added the foil, which seems to have helped keep it down a bit. Plus I moved forward a little bit and just shifted my weight around. It's been good today, just testing sort of where I should sort of get more of my balance points, especially because I've got a trip coming up maybe next week. Looks like the weather is going to sort of hold, and we're going to tackle something that we did last year. But yeah, the foil seems to be improving the ride just a little bit from last week, keeping the nose down a little bit more, and plus I've got another prop with slightly higher pitch, so it should sort of just tweak just the motor to the optimum sort of performance for this kind of boat. The boat is still, it's actually not quite as long as the skiff, but the usable deck area is all the way to the front. It's perfect for jumping in off at the front, because when you sort of dip it down, you can actually just sort of slide off the front and just pull yourself up on it as well. So it's perfect for things like spearfishing and free diving. Because it's inflatable, I can sit on the sides now, so it increases not only the deck area, but I'll have all of this area, and plus the payload's like 500 kilos plus. So like I'll be able to load it up, I'll have plenty of fuel and things with me, and I'll be able to carry things that I couldn't carry before. And super stable, like I can stand on this thing and sort of lean out and it's not an issue. So that extra stability is going to come in handy, especially if it gets a little choppy. Because it's inflatable, it's still unsinkable, which I like, which is something that I really like about the skiff as well. It doesn't really matter if I flip it, it's not going to at least sink on me. So that's handy, especially if I start taking it out through the bar, which I will do. I just got to get the feel for it a little bit more. I bought a new esky, which is cool. This is actually really cool because it fits perfectly in this space. I've just got it velcroed in on these side bits so it can't slide around. It's actually quite sturdy, and it actually, I sort of played around with it, and it's actually in the perfect sort of spot for my balance point and where I should be sitting. So if I'm up here, the nose doesn't really lift that much and it gets on the plane super quick. Plus, I'll be able to put all my stuff in here. It's a D-clip. So I've got a few things in here that I've been playing around with this morning. But camping gear, food, I've got my other little esky for food, but it should actually make everything way easier. But I think I'll run with the esky all the time pretty much, because then I can put my anchor, all my safety gear in it, and just have, it's like a nice storage compartment, and it keeps me in the right spot for the boat to handle the best. Yeah, this wet deck at the front, this is really cool. Makes it look a bit like a little Thundercat actually. And she goes like a rocket. Once she gets up, I'd say it's as fast as the skiff. So maybe upwards of 40 k's an hour probably is going to be my top speed. And it'll be interesting to see if that prop changes that as well. I got the engine serviced just before this big trip because I wanted it running perfect, and it's actually been a long time since it's had a service. We got new fuel line. I know it's not the black stuff, but it is actually a much better quality, nice flexible fuel line. The guy actually got to service it. Was a bit of a legend. He does a lot of work on well, Tahatsu specifically, but all the surf life-saving boats, and he's local to me, so did a great job, and I'm very happy. And it looks like it's finally nice to find a good mechanic that I think I can rely on. And he did a few tweaks that are, you know what I mean, like different spark plugs, and got my fuel tank up the front. We added more cable. And we actually did something, this is just such a simple mod, but it's actually going to save me, because I've had a lot of trouble with the plugs sort of coming loose and air sucking into the engine and really conking me out at the worst possible times. So basically we've changed it to a brass fitting here, and it's just connected straight into the tag. So now we've eliminated one point where things can go wrong, basically. So anywhere I can eliminate any little issues where my engine's going to conk out on me, then it's a good thing. If I was going to let the big trip be the first time everyone saw the boat, but I guess it makes sense to have a bit of a rundown, show it off to everyone so everyone has an idea before it floats away. These rail blazer ports come already installed. I want to put I need to put some kind of permanent, maybe another one of them up here, just so I can have my front sort of inward facing camera mount. I had something sort of just dummied up this morning, but it wasn't permanent. So yep, these are on each side, and if you need to, you can row. I actually tested the rowing out last week, which is cool, and it actually rows pretty good. I added these two rail blazer ports here. I just had them left over from when I did the skiff install. And then I've got one rod holder over there, but what I'll do is I've got two rod holders. I'll take them off the skiff and plug them in. That's the cool thing about all this rail blazer stuff. I can swap and change and all that. And the cool thing is having these two rod holders, they're actually quite wide from the craft, and they'll just shoot straight out. So it should give me a nice spread. Plus I'll probably run a third one in there, and then either run it way back shotgun or in close, because you get a lot of hits in close. When I hit the beaches, like on these especially these deserted island kind of beaches, I don't need to worry about anchoring the boat, and I don't need to drag it down. Like the skiff was hard work dragging down, say if the tide had gone out 50 meters, it wasn't easy. So this will save that hassle with the hard wheels, and we'll just roll down. So the other big benefit of this, and this is probably should have hit this point first, is I don't actually have to put it on top of the car, but I can deflate it. So like the whole thing without the engine on it is 35 kilos, which is super light. So I can actually sort of pick it up and manipulate it in the backyard. But there's no need to put it on the car because it's inflatable. But not only is the pontoons on each side inflatable, but the actual deck is inflatable. It's sort of like a stand-up paddleboard, so it keeps it super light. And not only is it super light, but it all folds up into like probably about the size, like maybe two of the Eskies, maybe, let's say. So it's pretty compact, so I can just put it in the boot of the car and drive and cut down on all that wind resistance and all that mucking around. Doesn't take too long to blow up. I'll probably do a proper video of me setting it up, like from pack down to all the way up. We'll see how we go, but I've sort of got it nailed. I did a few things, like I used the air blower from home, and the blower like blows up the pontoons in like in seconds, so that's pretty cool. So it cuts down on setup time. And yeah, like within 10 minutes you can have it all blown up, and then you just got to add your bits and pieces on, and then you're away. So for a trip that if I'm heading away on a trip for like a few days, that's minimal setup time. Like it probably took me as long to set the kayak up and get it off the roof, get everything in it, pack it in sort of nice and neat, and then be really sort of like conscious about weight, whereas this sort of frees up a lot of that. And plus I don't have to have anything on the roof on the drive. So, and we'll take this on a family holiday. We've got like a big camping trip booked with the family just around New Year's, so this should come with us, and we'll actually have a boat on those trips, and we can take it up the creek and take the fam. So it should be cool. Oh look, pelican. Yeah, ticked a lot of boxes. So really happy and really keen to get it out more and more and more. Look at that, looks like a little weapon. Anyway, we'll see you on the next trip. It might be another week before I get to edit another trip. Unless I can sneak in a fishing trip, I think we'll just be heading off to the big trip next week, and that'll be for maybe at least 4 or 5 days. So hopefully we come up with the goods, and we come up with a really good video back on the new toy. Anyway, I'll catch you on the next vid.